All right, so welcome back. I'm in the 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road, priced out at $53,000. Let's take this thing for a drive and I'll give you some thoughts. I've spent a lot of time with the new Tacoma at this point and would love to tell you just honestly what it's like to live with. All right, so first things first, as with most modern Toyotas, I have to say, and this is quite a difference from the previous generation Tacomas, the thing with most modern Toyotas that is the best, that's just their best selling point is their powertrain. This is the hybrid 4-cylinder motor, which produces 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. And I gotta say, it's a great powertrain. It puts down a lot of power and it's really enjoyable. You've got torque, 465 pounds of, pound-feet of torque in a relatively small truck, which I'll talk about in just a second, is a lot. That's a lot for really almost any vehicle. And boy, it's extremely nice to have. You've got plenty for driving around town and for off-roading and going on trails. And it's a great powertrain that I really, really enjoy. You always have power, which is a great thing to have. However, with all of that power, don't be thinking that you get great fuel economy, which has also been a theme with other Toyota products that are the hybrid kind of truck SUVs like the Sequoia, etc. I've been averaging, and I've been doing a lot of downhill stuff today, and I'm only averaging just over 16.2. In most of my last 100 miles of just kind of daily driving this, a mixed combination of freeway and daily around town kind of driving, I was averaging more in the mid to low 15 miles per gallon range, which is, honestly, it's insane to me. This is a small motor, and here we are doing away with V6s and with V8s. My Ram 1500 Rebel with a Hemi 5.7 liter V8 almost gets 15 miles per gallon in that, which is nuts. This is a much smaller truck, much smaller motor, and we're trying to do things in the name of efficiency or whatever, but this is not all that more efficient. The combined rating for this is 23 miles per gallon. And I don't know how they ever achieved that. Maybe if you're in Kansas and it's 60 degrees outside and totally flat and you're going 50 miles per hour, sure. But if you're just like daily driving this like a normal person, and I'm here at somewhat an elevation in Utah, again, 15, 16 miles per gallon. The best I saw on like a long freeway stretch was like 18, 19, which doesn't even come close. This is rated at 24 on the highway, 24 miles per gallon on the highway. And the truth is you're just not going to come close to that. This is not the first time I've tested a new Tacoma, and the experience has been the same every time with the fuel economy. Even with the hybrid is not there for efficiency. You need to understand that. It's there for power, which you do have. Woo! Like that feels good. Like that power is really good, but it does come with a price. And it does make you wonder, why don't I have a V6 or even a V8 in this thing? So a couple other things about the Tacoma. Honestly, it is a really good thing to daily drive. The coil spring suspension makes it for a pretty comfortable ride. I think the tires are a little overinflated from the factory here. But even still, it's just nice to daily drive. It's just the right size. I love compact trucks, or mid-sized trucks, I should say. And just for their size, they're easier to park, easier to maneuver. They don't feel so intimidating. Like, I love my Ram 1500, and it actually, I think, drives really well, the best of the full-size trucks. And it drives smaller than it is. But even still, this is just nice. Like, it's just easier to drive, and, it's just, it feels good, it's totally accessible and just pleasant to be with in really any daily driving circumstance. However, this is a fairly large vehicle. It's not small. It almost seems like on the exterior, it's not as big as my Ram 1500, but it does kind of look that way almost. It's really crazy. And the thing about it is, for as big as this is, boy, there is like hardly any room in this interior. If you're seriously considering buying a new Tacoma, it really only is meant for you and one other front passenger and maybe small children in the back. And I say maybe because we have 3 kids and we put them all in the back here, one of them which is in a rear-facing car seat. If you have a kid in a rear-facing car seat, do not buy this truck. I had to scoot my seat like almost all the way forward, push the steering wheel all the way in, and even then she barely fit with the rear-facing car seat. And my other 2 kids back there had like no room. There's a huge hump in the middle. And so this is great if it's just you driving around, or if you just you and one other passenger and you just use the back seat for storage, although you can't even fold it up because, well, the battery, you can't use an underseat storage is what I mean, because the battery's there. And so you don't really have like any space inside. Like this honestly, and I'm just being for real, this honestly feels about the same size inside as my old Toyota GR86, which is a sports car. And it has a little more room than that, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel like that much more room. Yes, the back seat is bigger, but like, it's small in here. And so if you're thinking of this as like a practical, I'm going to run the kids around, we're going to have a great time and stuff, they're going to be miserable. Like, they hated it in here. My daughter even got car sick. And so just because there's no room, there's like literally no breathing room. So just take that into account. And I know that's the case with like most mid-size pickups, but I do feel like the Colorado has a little bit more space and the Frontier has a little bit more space. The Ranger absolutely has more space. That thing has a shocking amount of space on the interior in the back seat. And so, you just kind of have to decide what's important to you as far as that goes. But in addition to the interior, so keep in mind this as option, the base price is like $47,000 here for the TRD off-road. But if you want anything like the upgraded stereo, if you want like anything in there, mud guards, whatever. This, as tested, is just over $53,000. 53 grand. That puts it into some pretty competitive territory. You can get a Ranger Raptor for the mid-50s. A Ranger Raptor, right? Like, you can get a lot of full-size trucks. My Ram 2024, I got it used. My Ram 1500 Rebel, level 2, loaded. It's like a luxury car. Was way less than this was. And I know, it's a Ram, it's not going to be reliable. Well, it's been amazing, honestly. It's a great truck. And it was way less than this, and that's a full size with a V8 that gets the same fuel economy as this 4-cylinder. Another thing to note too is this does have like a larger screen. It's huge. Honestly, I'm kind of getting tired of all the screen wars that I seem to be, I don't know, like how many screens we put in a car, right? This is big. I mean, I feel like this size of screen kind of makes sense in like the Tundra, but even then it's like, whoa. Especially when you only have a backup camera. This does not have a 360 camera. And so like when I put it into reverse, it's just like this huge screen with a super pixelated, outdated backup camera image. And it's just kind of funny. It's like, great, glad I got this huge screen to stare at this image. So I don't know, I just don't think it's necessary. It takes up a lot of space and it's honestly kind of overwhelming, and it's just big. And so I don't know if it's really necessary. So while I know I'm kind of like picking this thing apart, I'm just trying to tell the truth of what it's honestly like been to live with. Now that said, if it is just mostly you and maybe just one other passenger most of the time, and you don't really care about fuel economy, especially in a mid-sized truck like this, I think you're really going to enjoy this. Although it is so funny. Like if you go by this, by the way, cloth seats in here. I didn't mention that earlier, but these are cloth, like manually adjustable seats, no power, nothing, except for the lumbar support, which is nice. But you really don't, it's pretty bare bones, like especially by modern standards, and especially, for like, again, $53,000. And so it is funny though, like I was talking with a buddy of mine, and he was talking about his friend who had just bought one of these, and I think even like the same trim, TRD off-road, and he's like, yeah, my buddy bought it and like immediately put like $10,000 into it worth of like wheels and tires and suspension upgrades and stuff, and then you're into this thing like $65,000. Woo! That I don't know. I don't know. But I will say this, it does look very cool. It drives very nice. The braking is great. The handling is great. The power, like I've said before, is just amazing. Like, I love all that torque. Just go into it knowing, like, yeah, it's a Tacoma and it looks so cool, and hopefully it's going to be reliable. But you're paying a premium. You're paying a premium for it, and you might be surprised at how little you kind of get. And I get that it's capable, but you're gonna have to take off that front air dam that's there for aerodynamics if you want to do any sort of off-roading. These Predator steps, Toyota always throws them on everything. And I've got another buddy who has a last gen Tacoma who had these Predator steps on, and literally the first day he took it off-roading, he ripped both of them off. They just hang down, they bang your shins, especially if they're slippery. Like, they're kind of painful, and so I would not go for those. But anyway, that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what it's like to live with this thing. I've put about exactly 100 miles on it. That's the fuel economy I'm getting in the 15 mile per gallon range. And you know, the interior space is you know, pretty rough. Like, if I wanted this little bit of interior space, I honestly would just go get another GR86, because I'm expecting with that, and like, I'm fine with it. But this is a pretty big truck, and so anyway, thanks guys for watching. Hopefully that's been helpful. Let me know if I'm completely wrong in the comments or you agree, but just kind of an interesting vehicle and interesting direction for the beloved Tacoma nameplate. So until next time, we'll see you guys.